Hi everybody. Today we're going to start section 2 of statistics. We're talking about the measures of central tendency. The measure of central tendency, the measure of central tendency is a single number used to represent all the values of a data set. Mean, median, and mode are measures of central tendency. Now the mean is the is the sum of the values in a data set divided by the number of values in the data set. It's also known as the average. So the mean is the average of your data. If you have 5 numbers, you would add all those numbers up and then divide by 5, and your result would be the average or the mean. The median is the middle number in the data set when it has been arranged in order of value. That means you would arrange it as 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how they're in a row. That middle number, the median, is the one that's in the middle. If you had an even number, this would be your middle. So you would do 3 plus 4 equals 7. And then divide 7 by 2, which gives you 3.5. That would be your median. Where there is an odd number of data, the median is simply the middle number. When there is an even number of data, the median is the average of the two numbers, which is what I just did in the example. The mode of a set of data values is the number or numbers that occur the most. This can be one or many modes, or there can be one or many modes. If no value appears more than once, then there is simply no mode. The measure of spread, the range is the measure of spread between the maximum and minimum values. This means if you have numbers, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the range is 6 minus 1. That equals 5. The range is from here to here. The maximum is the greatest number, and the minimum is the lowest number, or the least value. The range can be found, the range can be found by subtracting the minimum value from the maximum value. That's where we went 6 minus the 1, and that equals 5. Your range would be the 5. So let's take a look at some numbers and try to practice. Find the mean, median, and mode of the following number, or the following data set. And when we say data set, we're simply talking about a group of values, a group of numbers. What would be the median or the mean? First thing you got to do is this. First thing we got to do is we got to put our numbers in order. Are they in order? I got 70, 71, 75, 77. These look to be in order, so we're good. Okay. Now let's look at it again. The median was what? It was the middle. So let's find the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 numbers, so that means it's even. We're going to have 2 middle numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 75 and 77 are our 2 middle numbers. Now, what is in between 75 and 77, or what is the mean of those? That would be 76. How about the mode? Remember, the mode is what you see the most of. I have 371s. I've got 283s. I have more 71s than 83, so the mode will be 71. Now let's look at the range. The range is from, the range, I hit my eraser, sorry guys. The range, let me put this back here, will be from 70 to 87. 87 minus 70 is 17. So the range is 17. Now let's look at the median. I saved the big one for last because we need to do some calculations. What we have to do is we have to add up all of our numbers. So 70 plus 71 plus 71 plus 71 plus 75 plus 77 plus 82 plus 83 plus 83 plus 87. Now that gives us 770. How many numbers did we have? We had 10. So divide by 10. And your mean, or your average, is 77. So, which measure best represents? The most familiar measure of central tendency is the mean, or the average. The mean is usually the measure that best represents a data set because it includes every piece of data. However, if a data set includes an outlier, the median or mode will most likely be a better choice. An outlier is a value that is noticeably smaller or larger than the rest of the data values, and it affects the average or the mean. Let's look at an example of this. Emilio manages a restaurant. He's getting ready to order supplies. The list shows the number of customers that visited Emilio's restaurant each day last week. Look at the data. Do you see any outliers or any numbers that look different than the rest? What about 88? You've got 220, 253, 305, 310, 310, and 306. Now, those numbers, all of these are big numbers. 88 is small. So that's an outlier. And it's much greatly smaller than the rest of the numbers, so it's going to throw off the mean, which we'll still calculate. So, get my eraser here and get rid of this line. First off, let's find the average or the mean. 88 plus 220 plus 253 plus 305 plus 310 plus 310 plus 30 and 6. That's 1,792. Now, how many numbers do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So divide that by 7. And the mean is 256. Now let's find the median or the middle. Can we do that the way this is set up? We can't, and here's a reason why. This 306 is over here. It needs to be in numerical order, and it has to be here. So, 88, 220, 253, 305, 306, 310, and 310. So how many numbers did we have again? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it should be a singular number. So I've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 305 is the median. Oops. 305 is the median. Now let's look at the mode. Which number do we see occurring the most? Is there a mode? There is 310. Emilio needs to use the best measure of central tendency to predict how many customers visit the restaurant next week. Which measure of central tendency is best for him to use? We really cannot use the mean because this outlier value of 88 brings the average down. Why would we have 88? When you think about it, if you got 7 days in a week, maybe 88 occurred on, say, Sunday. Maybe on Sunday the restaurant closes early. Or maybe they open later and they don't serve breakfast. So the numbers would differ, right? And then therefore, if you use number 256, you may not order enough supplies, and that would be bad. You wouldn't have enough food for everybody. Now, in this case, we could use the mode or the median. The mode's not that far off. But if the mode had said, say, example 405, that would be a lot different than the median. And then therefore, if you use that to order the supplies, you'd order way too much food, and a lot of it would spoil, and you just have to throw it away. Or Emilio would, and that'd be money down the drain for him. So the best thing to do here is that 305. That would be the best to use right now. Let's look at using a data plot. Or I'm sorry, a dot plot. A dot plot is often used to display data. A dot plot uses a number line and dots to indicate data values. An example of this is going to be at the bottom of the page we're going to use. The number of dots above each value show how many times the value occurs in the data set. A dot plot shows the spread of the numbers in the data set. It allows you to quickly identify the mode, median, and clusters or groups of data, and any possible outliers. So let's take a look. Let's look at this dot plot. Find the the median, the mode, the outlier, and clusters. How could we find first let's look at the mode, the most of the numbers, right? And you notice here the following list shows the number of points scored by a football team in 16 games it played during a season. And there's all the scores. The data from the list is displayed below. Well, let's look at the mode, the most. How many times, or the one value that showed the most. And if you look here, number 17, look, it's stacked up high with 4, and there's nothing else even close. 30 and 10 have 2 times. So your mode is 17. Let's look at possible outliers. Are there any possible outliers? There could be some possible outliers. How about 6 and 7? 6 and 7 will be our possible outliers. Most scores are between 10 and 30, or in the double digits. What about, do we have any clusters of data? Do we have a cluster of data? Or do we have a group of data points? If you notice, here in the middle is a large contingent of all your data points. So that means from 17 to 23 would be your cluster of data. Lastly, let's look at the median. What do you think the median or the middle data point would be? What we have to do is to get these in order. So, let's list them. 6, 7, 10. Actually, don't really have to list them. You can just count the dots. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we have 16 data points, or 16 different numbers. So where would Numbers in 16, what's the middle of 16? It'd be 8, right? So we got to find those two numbers. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So one of them is going to be 17. And let's count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The other one's going to be 19. So 19 plus 17. Oops. Is going to be 36. And now 36 divided by 2 gives you 18. So your median, or the middle, would be 18. Okay, guys. Take a moment to review and then give your exit slip a try. If you have any problems, let us know. Get in contact with us, or we'll be in contact with you if you run into trouble. If you pass your exit slip, proceed to that